Good morning, second grade. We are going to do 11-6, make bar graphs. Our objective is to make, read, and interpret bar graphs. Our math words are data and bar graph. Today we are only going to be doing page 481 and 482. So we should have enough time to do everything listed here, plus a little extra. I want you to get comfortable with making a bar graph. At the top it says, Antonio records the type of birds that come to his bird feeder one morning. He shows the data in a tally chart. So he looked at his bird feeder one morning and counted all the types of birds that came. This is what he found. He put for his title, Birds at a Bird Feeder. On this side, the left column, he puts the type of birds, and on the right side, he tallies them up. You will be doing something similar to this. The question says, how can Antonio make a bar graph of the data? So let's look at this table on the left-hand side. This is going to explain everything. First of all, we can see we need a title. So at the top of the box, you pick a title. They put birds at a bird feeder. On the left-hand side, right here, going up, we have numbers. This says right here, number of birds. So on the left side, it says include enough numbers to show all the data. So just make sure that you have enough lines so that everything can be included. Down here, it says label what each bar shows. So down here we have types of birds, blue jay, chickadee, goldfish. All right, so the bar usually always goes with the known factor. So we know that we are talking about blue jays, chickadees, and goldfinches. And that would be listed right here. What we don't necessarily know is how many there are of each. That is the part that we don't know, so we have numbers going all the way up, and it might hit any one of those range. Now, even though it's been done on the right-hand side, because we have a lot of time, I want us to create it on this side as well, just so you have some practice. So we're going to look at blue jay, and we're going to see how many blue jays there were. If I look here, I see blue jays. How many are there? 4. That's correct. So we're going to make a bar above blue jay, and it's going to stop at the 4th line. This is just a practice. Normally, the textbook is not asking us to do this, but I figured since we have an empty graph right here, we might as well practice. So here is my bar. It stops at 4, and I'm just going to lightly shade it in. Then we have chickadee. So let's look at chickadee. For chickadee, count it. How many are there? Hopefully you counted 9. That's what I did too. So here for chickadee, I'm going to make a bar graph, and I'm going to stop at 9. If it helps, I can even draw a line at the top there just to remind myself where I stop. So there it is. I'm going to draw my bar going down, and I'm going to shade it in lightly. Chickadee. And last of all is goldfinch. Take a look at goldfinch. Count it. How many are there? Hopefully you counted 7. So I'm going to mark it right at 7 so I don't go past it. And I'll just work my way down. And then color it in. Now if I compare it with the graph, the bar graph right next to me, hopefully they look the same. And they do. They look identical. So we know we did it correctly. Let's go to the next page. This is the only page that we will be doing. We'll save the rest for tomorrow. Taking a look, you can already see this bar graph looks different. It's on its side. So instead of going up, it's going out. Let's read the information first. A baker records the loaves of bread sold one morning. Use the data in the tally chart to complete the bar graph and answer the questions. So we have a bakery, it sells bread. So what are the known factors? What we do know is we know the types of bread that are sold. We know that there's sourdough, wheat, raisin, and sesame. What changes is it's not always the same for each bread, is how much is sold. So for a bar graph that goes out to the side, that means right here on the left-hand side, we're going to put what we do know, the types of bread: sourdough, wheat, raisin, sesame. The thing that changes is the number. They're not all the same. So that's what goes across here. You'll notice that they go all the way up to, it could say 11, but right here they put the number at 10. And that looks like it'll be about right because I don't see any bread here that is a tally mark of 10. So we're safe. They did sourdough for us. Sourdough was 4. And if we look here, they start at the word sourdough and go out, and they stop. Uh-oh, did I say sourdough was 4? I'm sorry. Sourdough is 5. Sourdough is 5, and it stops at 5. There we go. So that's what they did. Let's go to wheat. For wheat, count it up. How many do you have? You're probably safer counting it up than me counting it up. Okay, I count 8. And that's what we have here. So here's the number 8. I'm going to draw that my bar is going to stop right there for wheat. And it's going to go out. And I will shade it in. All right, let's do raisin. Raisin has how many? 3. 3 loaves of raisin bread was sold. Not very many. I wonder why. People don't like raisin bread? Raisin bread toast is yummy with butter on it. They just don't know. So I'm going to go to 3. I'm going to stop it right there. And then I'll make my bar graph and shade it in. Last of all, I'll look at sesame. Please count. How many do you see? Hopefully you found 6. I'm going to stop my bar at 6. I made a mark, and then I make my bar and shade it in. If you wanted to use color pencils, you certainly could have. I didn't want it to bleed through the paper and show up on the other side, so I just used a pencil. Now let's answer question number 2. Question number 2 is going to use this bar graph. It says, how many more loaves of wheat bread are sold than loaves of raisin bread? Hopefully by now you are very familiar with what we do when we see those 3 words. How much more? How many more? When you see those 3 words, what do we do? Write it above. What do we do? I hope you put a subtraction sign. If you did, you are correct. So we're going to find the number of wheat bread. We're going to find the number of raisin bread. And we are going to subtract. Wheat bread is 8. And raisin bread is, oh, that's right, only 3. Why? They haven't tried it. Now let's subtract. Go ahead. You can do that part. I'm not going to do that part for you. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, use the data about loaves of bread to solve. All right, so we're going to look back up here to solve. And it looks like this might be a little trickier, so let's go slowly. All right, it says, use the data about loaves of bread to solve. Number 3, later, another 15 loaves of wheat bread are sold, but no more loaves of raisin bread. How many more wheat loaves than raisin loaves are sold now? Once again, that mystery. Why does everyone like wheat bread more than raisin bread? So they're saying another 15 loaves are sold. Not just 8, which is what we start out with, but it's 8 plus another 15 loaves. I want to add that there, plus another 15 loaves. So we have to find out the original number of 8, which is right here. And there were 8 loaves of wheat bread, but now we're adding another 15. So let's do that on the side. I'm going to say 15 plus 8. There we go. Okay, let's add that. What's 8 plus 5? Write it down. Do you need to regroup? Good. Okay, so now this tells me, I'm just going to put WB for wheat bread. This tells me I have 23 loaves of wheat bread now that were sold, but no more loaves of raisin bread. So that means raisin bread is still at 3. Now, the second part of the problem. How many more wheat loaves than raisin loaves are sold now? Okay, so here we go again. We have how many more? How many more means subtract. Now we're going to take our new number of wheat loaves and we're going to subtract with the original number of raisin loaves, and we will find our answer. So here we have our wheat loaves, and we're going to subtract the known raisin loaves, which is 3. And you will do the rest, okay? Now let's look at Write About It real quick. You'll probably do most of it. It says, how do you know how tall or how long to make each bar on a bar graph? So, how did I know that I was going to make wheat stop at 8? How did I know I was going to make raisins stop at 3? How did I know I was going to make sesame stop at 6? How do you know? All right, look carefully up here, and I'm sure that you will find the answer you are looking for. How did you know where to make your bar graph stop? Okay, or your bar stop. Very good. That took up almost all of our time. So have a great rest of your day. Bye.